The film begins by showcasing a desert setting that is likely somewhere in Africa. A group of men is seen searching among the rocks until one of them discovers a small hole and excitedly calls out to his companions. They then release poisonous gas into the hole, and surprisingly, a swarm of insects, specifically spiders, attacks the group of hunters. One of the men screams in pain, but no one pays any attention. Instead, they capture each spider one by one. After collecting enough spiders, one of the hunters walks over to the dying man to end his suffering. The scene then shifts to Kaleb, a kind-hearted rogue who works as a black market trader. He is currently at the shop of a man named Ali, who sells jewelry as a front. In reality, Ali also deals in illicit goods, and Kaleb's purpose for visiting is to purchase something truly interesting. Ali takes Kaleb to the back of the shop, where he displays all the illicit items not listed for sale. During this moment, Ali offers a pair of earrings, since Kaleb mentioned wanting to buy something for a woman. However, Kaleb is also intrigued by something else that seems far more valuable and mesmerizing. Kaleb is interested in a rare spider, and despite the fixed price, he insists on buying it. He also buys the beautiful earrings that Ali had previously offered. Before Kaleb leaves the shop, Ali sternly warns him that the spider is very dangerous due to its deadly sting. Nevertheless, Kaleb assures him that he is experienced and promptly leaves. Upon arriving at his uniquely shaped apartment building, Kaleb encounters some teenage gang members playing with firecrackers, causing a disturbance and making things difficult for the building manager, Mrs. Zhao. Kaleb quickly confiscates the firecrackers and scolds the teenagers, but Mrs. Zhao, misunderstanding the situation, scolds Kaleb instead. Frustrated, he then meets his friend and business partner Matthews, a part-time MMA fighter. They work together selling shoes to the local residents. While checking the inventory, Kaleb discovers one of the shoeboxes is damaged due to water leaking from a pipe. Though it's not a major issue since they sell shoes, not boxes, Kaleb insists on maintaining the shop's reputation and product quality, and he respects his customers. So he asks Matthews to find a replacement box. Afterward, Kaleb heads to his apartment unit, where he lives with his sister, Manon. In his room, it's clear that Kaleb has a growing collection of rare pets, indicating his interest in insects. Manon is visibly upset about this, accusing Kaleb of wasting money on stupid bugs when the money could be used for monthly expenses. She complains about various similar issues, but as usual, Kaleb ignores her. He decides to temporarily place the spider in the damaged shoebox until he can buy a new cage. In the evening, Kaleb attends a small birthday party for an elderly woman named Claudia. It is revealed that Claudia took care of Kaleb and Manon after their mother's death, which is why Kaleb is very grateful to her. He gives Claudia the earrings he bought from Ali as a gift. After the party ended, Kaleb returned to his unit, specifically to his room, and was shocked to find the shoebox had a hole in it, allowing the spider to escape. This made Kaleb panic, and he began searching everywhere but only found cocoons. Fearing the spider might attack during the night, Kaleb decided to lock his room and sleep on the sofa for the time being. The next morning, Kaleb was woken up by the loud noise of a drill, which was Manon's doing as she attempted to renovate the bathroom with the help of her friends Lila and her boyfriend Geordie. Matthews was also there to report that the replacement shoebox had been found so they could proceed with their transaction. Once the packaging was completed, Kaleb went to deliver the package to Tumani, a resident of the building who works as an influencer. At the same time, other residents arrived, suspecting that Kaleb and Tumani were conducting a drug deal. However, Kaleb and Tumani ignored them, choosing not to engage with the annoying individual. Later, while trying on his new shoes, Tumani felt something bite his foot, and suddenly baby spiders started crawling out of the shoes. Panicked, Tumani tried to contact Kaleb for help or accountability, but Kaleb did not answer, as he was busy scolding friends who had intrusively entered his room to look at his rare insect collection. After his friends left, Kaleb quickly locked the door from the outside and placed a cloth under the door to prevent the spider from escaping. Little did he know that the spider had already caused chaos by breeding. The scene then shifts back to Tumani, who wakes up in immense pain. He tries to reach for his ringing phone, but unfortunately, death claims him first. Tumani's pet dog watches his owner's death, barking in fear. Sometime later, the dog's continuous barking disturbs the other residents, prompting them to gather outside Tumani's unit. As the crowd grows and knocks on the door go unanswered, they decide to break it down, only to find Tumani's body in a horrific state. Shortly afterward, authorities arrive and take over the scene. After a brief investigation, they wrap Tumani's body in a body bag and take it for an autopsy. A resident known to have previously disrupted Kaleb and Tumani's transaction causes trouble again. This man, Gilles, accuses Kaleb in front of the authorities of selling drugs, claiming that this led to Tumani's death. Kaleb vehemently denies the accusation, almost resulting in a confrontation. Meanwhile, Kaleb and his friends take Tumani's dog, unable to leave it alone. Later, Kaleb and his friends discuss whether Tumani could have died from drugs. Geordie, who has some medical knowledge, points out that there were no needle marks on Tumani's body, clearly indicating that drugs were not the cause of death. The scene then shifts to Mrs. Chow, who, while cleaning the basement, finds the air vents filled with spiders. She uses insecticide spray to drive them away. Later, Lila goes to the bathroom, and the vent cover mysteriously falls off. Trying to remain calm, she puts it back, but stumbles over something, causing her to fall. At the same time, she notices a towel moving as if something is underneath it. When she tries to investigate, she is suddenly startled by a spider. Locking herself in a shower, Lila calls her boyfriend for help. Initially, Geordie plans to just capture the spider because of his love for animals, but after seeing its size and under pressure from his girlfriend, he kills it by hitting it repeatedly, unaware that this makes the situation worse. The spider had already reproduced, causing the young group to run out of the bathroom, locking and sealing it with tape. After the incident, all of Kaleb's friends interrogate him, forcing him to confess as they believe he is responsible for the chaos. Having no other choice, Kaleb finally admits that he bought a spider, though it wasn't that big, and placed it in a shoebox without realizing there was a hole in it. When the spider escaped, Kaleb only found a cocoon, which he placed in another box. Geordie then opens the box to examine it. Meanwhile, Mrs. Zhao continues cleaning and finds another spider web, this time on the ceiling. Out of curiosity, she investigates and is shocked to discover that the insects have infested the entire ceiling. Unaware of the consequences, Mrs. Zhao sprays insecticide, using 2 cans at once. Instead of fleeing, the spiders attack her. Back with Kaleb and his friends, Geordie suggests evacuating the building and reporting the issue to the authorities. Everyone agrees, but Kaleb and Mathis refuse to leave without warning the other residents. They decide to notify their neighbors by knocking on each apartment door, while the others wait in Kaleb's unit. Unfortunately, Kaleb and Mathis's efforts are in vain, as no one responds. Musa, for instance, is busy working out with loud music and doesn't hear the knocking. Unbeknownst to them, Musa is being attacked by spiders, which eventually kill him. Next, they try Claudia's unit. Kaleb and Mathis knock repeatedly and, out of concern, break down the door. They find Claudia sleeping in front of the TV, but upon closer inspection, they discover she has also been killed by spiders. Meanwhile, Geordie searches online for information about different spider species and learns that some can grow 10 times larger than their parents to defend against predators. Just then, a noise startles them, and they rush to investigate. They find a large spider, which they realize has emerged from the stomach of Tumani's dead dog. Realizing the threat, Geordie, Lila, and Manon decide to leave the apartment building immediately. Kaleb and Mathis join them after previously rejecting the idea that an elderly man named Ben Zawi had spiders inside his body. The group heads for the exit, but finds the door covered in a giant spider web. They decide to escape through the parking area in the basement, but it's not easy, as they must first pass through a corridor infested with spiders. With no other options, Kaleb takes the initiative to set a timer on the lights. They notice that when the lights are on, the the spiders stop moving as if paralyzed. This gives Manon an idea. She decides to hold the switch to keep the lights on, while Kaleb and the others pass through the corridor. Although Kaleb is worried about his sister, Manon reassures him that she will follow quickly and can move faster than the others. Once the rest reach the other side, Manon sets the timer for the longest duration and starts running through the corridor. Unfortunately, just as she nears the end, the lights go out and spiders surround her. Thinking it's the end, Kaleb arrives just in time to pull her to safety. Despite successfully getting through the corridor, they still cannot exit because authorities block the door and release smoke bombs, forcing Kaleb and his friends to retreat. After reaching the stairs, they realize Geordie is missing. Kaleb opens the door to rescue him, but it's too late as Geordie is already wrapped in webs and swarmed by hundreds of spiders. The remaining survivors hide in a unit, mourning the loss of their friend. Lila screams in grief over losing her boyfriend. Sometime later, Matthys comes up with the idea of going to the rooftop to seek help from the surrounding area. However, they need to figure out how to get past the spiders. Matthys points to the fireworks, suggesting they can use them to fight back if they remain determined. They quickly head up the emergency stairs, using fireworks, flares, and flashlights to ward off the spiders. When their supplies run out, Kaleb, who had prepared Molotov cocktails, throws one at the spiders and continues running until they reach a unit and lock themselves inside. Soon, authorities break in, intending to detain them under the suspicion that they are infected. This explains why all the residents were forbidden to leave the building. Kaleb and his group vehemently deny the accusations, leading to a tense fight. Ultimately, Kaleb's group loses, and the authorities capture them. When they wake up, they find themselves in the parking area where the authorities are collecting spider bodies, killed with insecticide. Amidst the chaos, Kaleb notices that Matthys has been bitten by a spider and his infection is worsening. Realizing he has little time left, Matthys decides to sacrifice himself to distract the authorities so his friends can escape. He initially shuts down the generator and breaks a door, allowing the spiders to flood in. As hoped, the swarm forces the authorities to focus on shooting the spiders. This diversion enables Kaleb, Manon, and Lila to free themselves and run towards Lila's car. Unfortunately, Manon is stopped by gunfire from the authorities. Seeing this, Kaleb rushes to save her, getting shot in the knee in the process. They take shelter in a van, where Manon apologizes for her lack of understanding towards Kaleb. Soon, some spiders attack, but just when they are about to give up, lights cause the spiders to retreat. It turns out Lila has come to their rescue. When the three of them regroup, Lila quickly starts the car and drives through anything blocking their way. As they search for an exit, they suddenly encounter a giant spider. Kaleb decides to confront it, instructing the others to run if he fails. Facing the spider, Kaleb tells Lila to turn off the car's lights, and surprisingly, the spider leaves. The film concludes by showing the apartment building sealed and fenced off, with memorial items and photos of the residents who were victims, including Matthys, remembered as a hero. The scene then shows Lila and Manon watching the demolition of their apartment building. It also depicts Kaleb burying a photo of himself and his friend Geordie as a tribute, reminiscing about their promise to build a zoo together. Finally, a spider appears from behind, but instead of killing it, Kaleb decides to let it go into the bushes. And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.